You're His Royal Highness, of course, King Charles III. It's a difficult time, isn't it? You're battling your own health issues, and of course, you've just recently celebrated an anniversary for your very own first year in power, if you like. And of course, it's been an incredible year. Hard to believe just how quick it's all gone, but what a success it has been for him. But moving forward, it's been very difficult for him on a personal level, not just because, of course, of his health, but also the ongoing battles within the family, and of course, some tragedies around there. As ever, let me explain. Morning, lovely to see you today. Thank you so much for joining me on this wet and wild, lovely spring day. I know it's incredible to think, isn't it? This is what we're now faced with. Apparently we've had so much rain, but apparently it's not been the wettest, get this, April on record. I don't know where they get these things from, do you? Yeah, I know. What do you think? Are you living in the United Kingdom? Do you think it's rain non-stop? Are you fed up now of all the wet weather? You just come and think, oh, please, give it a rest, don't you? Now, King Charles just celebrated his very first year on the throne, a year since, of course, his coronation, and I think he's done a terrific job. I don't know about you, but, you know, he's definitely moved with the times. As we saw the other day in that recent hospital visit, he really was doing things that Her Majesty the Queen wouldn't do, you know, really reaching out and talking to people, not just how are you, where you're from, but literally connecting on a big level. Not easy thing to do, let me tell you. And I think, as I say, he's obviously changed a lot of the way that he thinks, not just because of the demise of his mother, of course, our wonderful Queen Elizabeth, but really just himself. You know, he wants to do it totally differently. Now, what's interesting, I find, is this, that he has tried to make amends, as one can imagine, particularly with his very difficult family right now. And when I say difficult family, of course, I'm talking about his youngest son, Prince Harry. Now, according to a very well-placed source, he was all up for having a conversation just to at least wish Prince Archie a happy birthday. And you would have thought that may have just worked quite well for him. But sadly, you know, that wasn't to be. Now, this is kind of a serious point, really, because Meghan Markle apparently doesn't like ostentatious gifts, although apparently Archie does like a very expensive camera. Remember that? And yes, I wonder if he got that for his birthday. But what, you know, His Majesty the King allegedly wanted to do was send him something rather personalised, perhaps something that he painted or drawn himself from his own collection, which would, of course, been worth something in many years to come. The other idea was, quite frankly, to have a personal one-to-one conversation with Prince Archie, just a brief, you know, how are you, happy birthday, that sort of stuff. Now, it's my understanding that that simply couldn't take place, simply because apparently Meghan Markle wants to shoehorn herself into that conversation. She's desperate to speak to His Majesty the King, and I've been told from an excellent source, His Majesty the King is not desperate to speak to Meghan Markle. Quite happy to have a few words and, of course, see his youngest son, Prince Harry, upon his return back here to the United Kingdom. But it truly looks like everybody wants to swerve Meghan Markle, and who can blame His Majesty the King? A lot of people feel that it's a lot of the problems really surmounted from the moment she came onto the scene, even though he did all those good things for her. Moving forward, it does appear at the time of recording this that other than a personal card and a note, nothing's been forthcoming in the present, you know, sort of itinerary. And sadly for His Majesty the King, he's been unable to have that one-to-one personal conversation. Now, you might say the kid's just very young. Does it truly matter? It clearly matters to His Majesty the King. At 75 years old, he knows the value of connecting in later life. Something clearly, once again, Meghan Markle, you could say, is not too au fait with, looking at her own close family. Neil Shaw, Kensington, London.